Hi, Luke Hawkins here, and in this video I'm going to be going through peak performance, what that means for entrepreneurs, some misconceptions of peak performance, and the 3 core elements that will give you peak performance in your business. Now, first of all, let's start with what is the purpose of peak performance. Now, I believe the purpose of peak performance is to produce the results that you want in your life. If you just perform, and you do it in a way that's unsustainable, or you're burning the candle at both ends, or you're experiencing burnout, these kinds of things you want to avoid. So we want to know that we don't just want to get results short term, we want to be able to get results for the long term. We want to get results that are sustainable, and these results continually get better, but it's something that's sustainable for you. And that's what really peak performance is about, is making and getting sustainable results in your life. You don't want to just get results in just your business life and not in your health and body, or in your business and not just in your relationships, and sacrifice areas of life at the expense of your business. And that's where I feel and I see that a lot of entrepreneurs where they make mistakes is they sacrifice one area of their life or multiple areas of their life for their business. And you don't want to do that, because you're going to burn out that way. And I believe that results is really about, getting that in all areas of life. You want to get results in your health and body, and your relationships, and experiencing the emotions that you want, and making the social contributions that you want, and the results in your finances, and the results in your business. Now, the problem with most people is unconsciously you should know that the areas of life that improve for you or grow for you are the areas that you focus on. So if you only focus on business, then sure, you might get results in that area, but if you don't have any focus on the other areas of life, then that's not peak performance at all. That's how to burn out. And so that's very important to know. Now, there's 3 elements of peak performance that I want you to know. And the first element is really going to be about your psychology. You have to have a great psychology for peak performance. The second element that you've got to be able to have is you have to be able to master time. And you have to be able to use time and not have time use you. And the third thing that you've got to have is you've got to have outstanding high levels of energy consistently. And if you have those 3 elements, then you're going to have peak performance. So let's start with high energy. I don't believe you can manage your time, but what you certainly can do is manage your energy. And if you manage your energy, you want to be able to use that to create energy. So how do you create energy? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. The first way, mainly, that I like to say is that you have exercise routines, that you exercise every single day. Now, you've got to look after your body, because if you don't look after your body, it's gonna limit the energy you can give in other areas of your life. And I believe when you break through like physical barriers, then that gives you energy to break through mental barriers in your business later in the day. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you give 100% in your exercise regime, then I know you're going to give 100% in your business. So I believe that if you start with exercising, moving your body, maybe it's 20 minutes, or maybe it's actually going to the gym, but do something to start your day in high energy through exercise. The second thing you want to be able to do is you want to drink lots of water to increase your energy. And the reason why that's so important is because your brain is actually made up of 75% water, and it actually uses 10 to 20% of your water reserves. So you have to be able to drink lots of water, and clean water. So every day I recommend that you start by having several glasses of water to really help you get yourself hydrated. That's very, very important. Now, the other thing that you want to be able to do is I do this technique called rebounding. And rebounding is where you jump up and down on a trampoline, actually. And when you're jumping up and down that trampoline, what that does, or even jump up and down on the floor, that gets rid of all of the toxins out of your system. It helps clean out your lymph system. And what it does is it helps increase your energy and clarity. So I really recommend that you do that. I do that every day myself. The second way to become a peak performer is to master time. Now, when I learnt this, it completely changed the game for me. And I learned it from a guy actually who runs Success Resources, and he was speaking to a mentor of mine and said to him, why is it that you look like you have so much time on your hands, you have a multi-million-dollar business, and you walk around as if you have so much time on your hands. How are you doing this? And he said, well, let me share it with you. It's because of these three types of time. So the first type of time is what's called unproductive time. That's time not spent working on your goals. That means your time spent on distractions, your time spent on doing, things that are not important to you, your time spent on just unproductive things that are not working towards your goals. That's unproductive time. That's the worst way to use your time, by the way. The second type of time is what's called productive time. That's time spent working on your goals. And while you're working on your goals, somebody else isn't. So that means you're getting ahead. It's a very powerful use of time. Now, the third type of time, which is the most powerful type, and when I learned this, completely changed the game for me as an entrepreneur, because let me tell you, if you're an entrepreneur, you're not an entrepreneur if you're just working in your business and not on your business doing everything. What you essentially have is a job working for yourself. So to be a true entrepreneur, it comes from scale. And the way to do this, you've got to use a third type of time, which is called super productive time. That means other people's time spent working on your goals. Other people spending their time working on your goals. And that's called super productive time. And that's where you really get ahead. Okay? Now, the third element of peak performance, which is probably the most important part, and that is your psychology. And when I say psychology, I mean your consciousness, which is your self-awareness. How aware are you of your own thought patterns, your own belief systems, your own values, and the own processes that are happening in your mind that are controlling your behaviors? It's about awareness. And the first thing that's really important is you've got to have empowering beliefs. Because if you believe, that there's limited energy, or you believe, when you say I'm tired, or when you believe I don't feel like it, or when you believe that it's not possible, you're never going to perform at your best. And so you've got to overcome those stories or those limiting beliefs that are holding you back and be aware of those. And one of the ways that I've learned to change this is by giving yourself an empowering identity. So let's look at someone like The Rock. What's his identity? His identity is what? Always be the hardest worker in the room. What does Conor McGregor believe? He believes, well, I'm an Irish animal. That causes him to work his ass off in the gym, or work his ass off to be the best at what he can be. If you look at other successful people, they have this empowering identity. So I believe I have an abundance of energy. I believe I'm a high performer, and therefore I am. So have that empowering identity. The other element is be conscious of what are your values. If you want to know what your values are, just look at where you spend your time, your money, or energy. And you only spend your time on things, and you'll focus on things that are important to you. And so be very clear of what is important to you. And so then you're very clear, because your values will determine your destiny. Whatever is important to you in your life will determine where you end up. And the other element, the other part of psychology that's included in this is the questions that you ask. You have to ask yourself the right questions. And if you ask the wrong question, doesn't matter what answer you come up with, you're going to take a slower road to get to where you want to be. And so I like to do what's called thinking time. And Warren Buffett, he says he spends at least twice a week for 45 minutes planning and asking yourself questions about how you can do things more efficiently, how you can do things better, and how you can improve your results just by asking the right questions. So I really recommend you do that. That's completely changed the game for me about how can I achieve my goals faster, who else knows the way to get the results that I want. So rather than what do I need to do, I ask myself, who else has already got the results that can do this for me? That's a way better question. All right. So I hope that's helped you. And remember, so for peak performance, you've got to have the right psychology. You've got to maintain consistent high levels of energy, asking how you can maintain that every day and every week. And then also what you've got to do is master time. And if you do those three things, you're going to be a peak performer. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, then what I'd love you to do is just click the like button below and leave a comment or ask a question. I'd love to answer that in the comment section below, and click the subscribe button so that you never miss a video.